Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Oh my goodness, week 1 of the NFL is upon us, and what we are here to do, and we will be here to do all season long with a weekly show. It'll be me. It'll be Jim McCormick over there. Hello, Jim.
Hello.
That's a very famous hello on my podcast. Jim and I are going to pick these games every week. That's going to, the YouTube channel is going to have a show on it. We'll do some other stuff on the channel too, but we're going to have a show where we pick the games every week against the spread, tell you what we think. We're going to keep track. Sometimes that's going to be embarrassing. I hope not that embarrassing, but you know, last year I didn't do as well as I usually do. So this year's going to be so much better. Jim, did you have a great handicapping year last year?
It was so good that I don't even want to share it because it's not even replicable. So, you know, I wouldn't want that ROI to like misinform people. So
yeah, okay. So we're gonna do great this year, though. I know it. We're gonna pick every game against the spread. We're gonna tell you our best bet of the week. We'll incrementally tell you other things too that we think. We're really not a numbersy show. You're not gonna get out of us the thing where we go, our model says this team should be a 5.6 point favorite. We're not going to sort of build it that way. Jim, what's your methodology of how you usually wind up picking games in the NFL?
Right. So I usually just try to come up with what I believe the line would be before seeing it for a game. Okay. And then I compare it to what the actual line is. And it's not, you know, the only determinant, but it does help set my initial take. Like if I'm really off on one, I mean, if I have a much different impression, I tend to side with myself.
It's always good thing to side with, not too much, but you know, you can go blind, but siding with yourself to some degree is a good idea. And we call it the Harris method because we've been doing the show together for a couple years, and we both kind of fell into this. And again, like I'm aware of modeling stuff, and I'm aware of priors, right? That's a big word. Priors is code for what, Jim, in handicapping?
It is code for a crutch. I mean,
it's code for last year, right? It's code for stuff that doesn't really apply anymore.
Right. Yeah. You know, it's my favorite when I discuss like, you know, coaching tendencies or blitz rates from last year, and like no one's there anymore. Like literally, they don't even have they don't have the security cards anymore for the building.
Right. So. And so there are people who do quant stuff, and we encourage you to check those out. We're a little more. I'm much more about film. We're a little more about kind of trying to anticipate what the line should be, and we're gonna tell you what we think the line should be, or at least we'll tell you what we think we would do to bet on any given game. And we start out with a Lulu on Thursday night. We start with a humdinger, as they say. I am 87 years old. It's going to be the Bills visiting my lovely city of Los Angeles to face the Super Bowl champion Rams. I don't know if you're surprised. Maybe you're a little bit surprised that we've got a Super Bowl champ that's actually a home dog by 2.5 points in this opening game. Where are you going with this one?
Yeah, well, that's just it. I mean, I get to take points with the Super Bowl champ. I get to at home, which, you know, obviously I don't want to disrespect the Bills' rabid fan base, but it's the Rams. I mean, it's the greatest home field advantage in football.
For 10 points, maybe
at
11.
Least. I mean, you know, that's why this was so off to me. But seriously, it's very much a public team, even though we're talking about a Super Bowl team. The public team is the Bills. They're, you know, one of the most popular, you know, picks for the Super Bowl, and a lot of the money's on their side. It really has nothing to do with fading the public. It has more to do with taking points in a game that I think are between two very comparable, really good teams.
Yeah, so this is fun, really, really super fun. Has the potential to be a shootout. I definitely, I'm probably on the Bills more than I'm on the Rams for the season. I think since they've been doing this opening kickoff game where the Super Bowl champ usually in the last 20 years or so, it hasn't happened every year, but usually the Super Bowl champ gets to defend at home against some other good team. And straight up, that defending champ has been 14-2. I'm not going to give you a lot of that stuff, but I think you can tell me, is that a meaningless stat, or is there something there about kind of the emotion of having won and playing at home?
There's something there, yeah, especially, you know, being a dog, like, is something even more. I mean, if we're going to add any edge to this, it's that you're at home, you have a ring ceremony, and get points, so... You know.
Yeah. So, okay, we're on the same side there. Let's go to Sunday. Let's start working our way down. We've got the Ravens visiting the Jets. The Jets are getting a touchdown at home. We've got 3 touchdown underdogs at home. That's a lot before we'll never be dumber about the 2022 NFL season as we are right now. And yet everyone has decided they know exactly what these teams all are. It strikes me that often there's value in underdogs in week one, but there really wasn't last year. So maybe not always, but boy, 7 points for a home dog sight unseen. Ooh.
Yeah, this is a bad team, bad kind of line, right? Like meaning just this is a bad team, 7 points. But I'm actually gonna agree with that this time. I'm hearing that Joe Flacco's been living in a dorm in University of Delaware, so that commute is really far. But more importantly, I really just think that this Baltimore team is getting back so much of the secondary, so much of their really what makes them on defense, and this 3 safety look I really think is going to matter. More importantly, they're a much better team. I will give the points. I think they cover this.
All right. I don't feel outraged by it. I set this line at 6, but I do think, man, it has to be pretty remarkable circumstance for me to be willing to give that many points to a road team. So I think I will go with the Jets. And you know what the reaction is anytime you take a big dog, especially early on before we've seen them play, the reaction is you can't take them. You just can't take them. Like, what if the line was 10? What if it was 14? Like, there is a number at which it's a stupid line. And this isn't stupid, but I do think it's slightly on the side. I set it at 6, so I will go with the Jets. All right, a team that you know nothing about, the Philadelphia Eagles. You intentionally won't watch any of their games. You don't like them. This, of course, is absolutely not true. You're an Eagles fan recording right now in Philadelphia, and they're visiting America's team, the Detroit Lions.
They are.
And, I call them America's team because they've been on Hard Knocks and because now everybody knows all their player names. We know this line is Lions getting 4 at home. So it would be, if you want the Eagles, if you want your precious Eagles, you'd have to go give 4 points, -4.
Yeah, I would much prefer this to be 3, but I will still give the 4. It is, I think that's really a difficult number right there. It is. I had this at 6 though, so it works for me. I just think the what we're not able to know yet is how good is this Eagles defense. Last year, defensive coordinator, super vanilla. I just think we see more from this Eagles defense. I just think it's the better roster by that many points.
I'm going to go Lions. And again, I don't find it outrageous. I had it at 3, like you say. You had it at 6. I mean, if it had been 3, it would have been a push for me. I'll take America's team. Frankly, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Nobody believes in Amon-Ra St. Brown more than I do, except for I keep putting him on bust lists for fantasy. But I still am going to take America's team, the Detroit Lions. We'll get back to these in a second. Let's thank our sponsor. Obviously, we're talking about betting these NFL games. If you're looking for a place to do it, we recommend DraftKings. They've got a great promotion going on right now. New customers can make their first $5 bet. Instantly, you'll get $200 in free bets. Plus, week 1, everyone on DraftKings gets an early win promotion. All you have to do is bet an NFL team straight up to win outright. And if your team is winning at any point in the game by 10 points, your bet cashes. You win that bet. They don't have to actually win the game. DraftKings has same-game parlays, of course. They've also got DFS, which we'll be playing for people who listen to the podcast. Your funds are safe and secure. You can deposit and withdraw anytime you want and get $200 in free bets with your first $5 bet. But you got to get the DraftKings app, and you got to sign up using the code HarrisTube. It makes watching the games more fun. Go get that DraftKings app. Play along with us. Please do sign up using the code HarrisTube. All right, continuing on, we've got the Colts. They are getting a big number. They're -8 in Houston. How about it?
Yeah, this one's tough. I'm actually going to take the points here. I really wanted to give them because I do think that the Ryan Reich thing actually can create some pretty fun offense, but I think it's way too many points, really. And I think it's too many points for a Gus Bradley defense who just don't. It's a 1995 defense. I think it's too much.
1995 might be exaggerating. The Seahawks are pretty successful
2008.
with it.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
No, keep going.
2012,
13, 14. Exactly.
Okay, yes.
Still old. I'm with you. It's too many points for this early in the season. I don't know if the Colts are good. Right. I'm totally with you there. All right, Steelers at the defending AFC champ Bengals. The Bengals are giving 6.5 at home.
Yeah, the cool part, the only stat I have, it's the first time these guys have ever opened a season together. That's means nothing. But I really...
well, thanks for sharing it.
I got to say, though, I do respect this Steelers defense enough to take these points. I mean, I know the quarterback situation could be ugly and all these other things. I also think, obviously, this is coming off of the Super Bowl shine. So I don't know. Just here's a question: what would this line be if the Bengals lost the AFC Championship game?
Or had lost against Tennessee.
Or
I mean, they easily could have done that, right? Tannehill throws the interception, and Bengals suddenly win. Yeah, this is probably a 4-point spread.
Right. So,
but yeah, I mean, the fact is, I think the Steeler offense could be
terrible,
pretty crummy.
Yes.
I set it at 7, so I'm not telling you I think it's a ridiculous line, but I am going to take the home favorite here. The 49ers. With Trey Lance apparently, but Jimmy Garoppolo stalking him, potentially actually playing the game literally on his shoulders, draped over his thighs across his, it's going to be a bit of a distraction. But the 49ers get what seems like a walk. I think seems like a walk in week 1.
Yeah.
They visit the Bears, and the Bears are 7-point home dogs, that is not nice.
I like to think that Fox brought in a rack focus specialist just to show a picture of Trey Lance and then slow focus into Jimmy's face every time. But really, I think the potential for a Spider-Man meme thing to happen where they're pointing at each other is very possible with this quarterback matchup. I just think they could be just throwing the ball at the ground quite often. It's just I just think, again, it's the lowest. Is it the lowest total of the week? It's one of them. It's low 40s, and I just think I would rather just take the points in a situation like that.
Yeah, Bears +7. I don't want to. It's one of those where, the Bears are so widely presumed to be the worst team in the NFL that I just don't want to go along with the herd. A 7-point home dog before we've seen a single game just feels like, you just kind of automatically take the points. I think you're right on that one.
There are paths to a blowout, sure, but we're not there's also paths to this being tight and ugly. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last year, this is what I said week 1, and all the big favorites won. So, I mean, what do you know? Saints are going to Atlanta. They are -5.5 on the road against a Falcons team that's in year 2 of the Federal Express administration.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening on either side in terms of how these teams are being run, but it's really tough to give points on the road with Jameis Winston. It's actually if I was Memento, it would be the first tattoo I got. Would just be but here I am.
Don't trust him. Yes. It's right across your nipple.
But here I am. Here I am giving points with Jameis Winston on the road. I just really do think these rosters, the gap is really big. For all the other guys who play football, I just think there's a big gap.
-5.5. I got the Saints also. I said it at 6. I don't mean to say it. I don't think it's ridiculous. We'll get to our most confident by the end of the show. The Patriots, the Footy Pajama Patriots, they go to Miami. That's kind of a house of horrors. It's pretty terrible for this Patriots team that has so many questions. Not that I know anything about rooting for that team. Having to go to a place that historically they get crushed, especially when the weather's hot. The Dolphins are only giving 3 points, and by saying only, I believe I have said what I'm going to do here.
Yeah. There was this angle I wanted to take where it's Belichick versus a rookie coach, and I just couldn't get there. Just this idea of this narrative, but I just believe this is the faster, better team right now. So I'm taking.
I think the
points. Yeah.
I think if Belichick wasn't the coach and everything else was the same, what would this line be?
Oof, 7, 6.5.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think the rosters are that close.
Yeah. Right.
I guess, the Patriots for years have relied on the middle class, and the middle class of their roster always kind of being deeper and better, and they didn't need the top end talent. But you know who they had when they had that theory?
Yeah.
Top end talent, the best quarterbacks ever played. I don't like the roster. Maybe I'll wind up being wrong on them this year, but I don't like the roster. All right. Jags are visiting the Commanders. Washington is a -3 at home.
Yeah. I mean, Urban Meyer, he seemed about as qualified to run an NFL team as he did an Outback. And, he probably would ruin an Outback, too. But, failing theme restaurants, I don't want to go there. But I just think Doug Peterson is quite the leap. I'm gonna take the points with, I just think, a close roster. I'm going to take the points with the Jaguars, which is the Jaguars.
The Jaguars, you're going to give the wires. That's what we call them. Around here, we call them the wires. I think I'm going the other way. I'm with the Commanders. I'm surprised. I don't think that roster's that bad. And you know my thoughts. Carson Wentz isn't great, but I think he's a vast improvement over what they've had. I know that's not a popular opinion. We'll see. But I'm pretty surprised at this line, I have to say. I said it at 5. The Browns, it's the Baker Mayfield game. They go to Carolina. The Panthers are 2.5-point favorites.
I mean, the shocking thing here is that Baker commissioned a T-shirt, and so him using his likeness in an advertisement is just groundbreaking. No one's ever seen that before. But really, I think this Carolina roster is one of the worst in the league. Outside, they have some top guys, like fantasy-wise, we can recognize some names, and on defense they have a couple big names. But I just think it's a very shallow roster. It's very top-heavy. So I just think that Cleveland's better. I don't know how much better Baker is than Brissett, so I'm actually gonna.
I think he's better. I'm with you.
No,
actually, I have Cleveland here.
But I'm taking.
I have Cleveland here. I think he's better. I mean, Mayfield was playing with one arm last year. Granted, it was the one you're supposed to throw with, and that matters. You know, he should have been probably better. Right. But I still am kind of with you. I don't think the Browns are that terrible. I think they're going to be underestimated for a few weeks before we learn that lesson. Giants at the Tennessee Titans. And that line is Tennessee minus 5.5, and the 1 seed in the AFC last year. Getting a little bit of respect here.
A little bit. The loss of Landry is really tough. Harold Landry was just lost for the year. That's pretty big. I mean, he does a lot for them, you know. But again, it's a really smart defense. They don't bite on play action. They're really disciplined. I think this is enough. Like, if this got out of hand, if this was 6.5 or closer to 7, maybe I would go away from it. But I'm actually going to still give the points. I just think the gap in competency at every, especially at quarterback, even with the overhaul with the Giants, it's going to take time.
You just said someone's like way less competent than Ryan Tannehill, and that made I don't necessarily disagree with you, but it made me sad. It made my heart hurt a little bit. He's not good. He's all right. You know, you gotta baby him. Yep, I'm with you. Tennessee minus 5.5. Probably among the most disrespected AFC teams. I still think the roster is going to wind up being pretty good. Chiefs at Cardinals. Wow. I mean, I guess this is going to be like 100 points, probably, maybe, I guess. But I was surprised to see this line be Chiefs minus 4.5 on the road.
Yeah, it's pretty big, right? Not much respect for this Arizona team. But especially a team that, here's the reason that I'm taking the points. And not only is it at home, but they have the one thing they really do on defense are 2 great safeties. You know, Budda Baker, they just played Jalen Thompson. I think these guys, the 2 high safety thing, I know it's a cliche, but they actually have the personnel to do it. And we haven't seen this Kansas City team yet, right? And so we're pricing them. This is like priced like last year's Kansas City team coming in. And I'm not sure this is last year's Kansas. It's not Kansas City. It's not last year's team.
Yeah, I mean, not only is it not, but I think this would have been the price last year, and it would have been wrong.
Right.
Because the Chiefs last year struggled a lot of the time. We saw them get beat up in the middle of last season. They figured it out in December and then unlearned it again in the playoffs. Man, we really need to see what the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs' attack is going to be completely different. It has to be more horizontal. They've clearly built personnel to be more horizontal because they're going to see safeties back constantly. Most of the NFL now seems like that's why Gus Bradley is somewhere watching this video going, "Come on, man, we're going right back to 2014, dude."
Guys.
Not quite the same. Not quite. This cover 3 is not what we're talking about. So I'm with you. I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'll take the points at home. We've got the Packers traveling to Minnesota. The Packers don't have any receivers that we trust. They still have a good defense, and they have a crazy quarterback who has known to pout. And against, I think, what we think is a decent Vikings roster, they're still minus 1.5 on the road.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good this defense is, because I think we're pricing in like the leap, or not pricing in, but there's a consideration publicly that there's going to be a modernization of the offense in Minnesota. But I'm also not sure what the difference is with Zimmer's influence on defense. So I guess what I'm saying is there could be a little step back on the defensive side. I think this is actually a Packers. I like the Packers here. I think it's a much better roster. And I guess we were asking about like the difference between last year and this year. Like, I think this Packers roster got better everywhere but losing Devontae Adams. That's a huge thing. But I think the roster actually not net got better, but in all these other places improved.
I like the Vikings.
Okay.
I think this is a weird line.
Okay.
This one might come up again.
It is weird, yeah.
It may come up again in a second. The Raiders, the Devontae Adams led, I guess, Raiders they come here also There's 2 games in LA this weekend. I can't wait for the 400 people that are going to go to all those games. They visit the Chargers. The Chargers are 3.5-point favorites over the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders defense, it's like they're paying for the Mayock era, or let's call it the Gruden era, whatever it is. It's just, when you miss on that many picks, like, somebody's got to pick up the bill, and it's going to be Josh McDaniels. I think this Chargers team is really, really good, and I don't care about home field.
Raiders might be a little overrated in general. Yeah, this would be one where you wouldn't necessarily, if you're figuring like what home field is worth, you maybe should give the Raiders a couple points.
Sure.
I'm still going to do Chargers -3.5. We've got the Sunday night game, right? Buccaneers at the Cowboys. Last year, opening night, total barn burner, Cowboys at Buccaneers. It set the entire fantasy world up to think that the Cowboys were this undeniable aerial offense, and it took 2 months for people to unlearn that lesson. It feels like with no Amari Cooper, they really have questions, and an offensive line that's hurting. They really have to prove something through the air. The Buccaneers are favored on the road by 1.5 points.
Yeah, I am, again, giving points. We're giving a lot of points this week. On the road, too. But I just think it's, again, the superior roster. I don't think there's a lot of change in how this team approaches how they play. Obviously, defensively, it's the same exact situation. It's just a much better roster, I think. I think if Tom doesn't go away, maybe this is 3.5 points, So.
Yeah, I mean, I set this line at 2, so I don't think it's ridiculous, but I do have the Buccaneers. I know how much you like Diggs. I feel like we should give you like 10 minutes to talk about the fact that you think probably Diggs for the Cowboys is the best corner in the league. Just kidding. He doesn't think that.
Player of the year.
He does not think that. All right, wrapping it up with Monday night, the Russell Wilson revenge game. Broncos going back to Russ's old home. It's just a chef's kiss. It'll actually be Buck and Aikman, so it'll be good announcing. I'm looking forward to this game, although Seattle, probably isn't that good. The line is 6.5 if you want Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I am just gushing points here. I'm taking Denver again. I'm giving points on the road, which is terrible. But again, I think this Seattle team is like secretly trying to be like the sixth, like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, I really think they pulled the plug and they didn't tell anybody. Like, they actually actively went into a season.
You're not the only person that think that, though.
Well, I know I'm not. It's
pretty commonly.
It's no secret. It's just that
Bears or Seahawks. That's what everybody says, right?
Yes, yeah. So
that's why this line is what it is. I mean, 7 is just an outrageous number to give on the road, right? It's outrageous.
Huge.
You didn't want to do it for the Bears,
right? But this is different in the sense that I actually think, like, I'm concerned about the Trey Lance situation, and I'm not really concerned about this offense. Okay. So I think it's worthy to give these points. And Russ Wilson has been imagining the thing he's going to say after the game. He might even chew gum. You know what I mean? Like, he might just do something super strange to Carroll. So,
wow, might drink a cup of coffee
exactly
and chew gum.
That's what I mean.
Just for cousin Josh. I also am taking the Broncos. I was trying to beat you up, but I'm right there with you. All right, before we go here, your most confident point spread bet of week 1.
This is crazy because it's going to be a Jacoby Brissett team, but it's Cleveland. I just think it's such a better roster. I just do. I just think they could just beat them. I think I like the money line even on that game. So
I kind of like the Vikings money line. I thought the Vikings might be favored in this game, but I guess I'm gonna take the home team there, take the home dog. I was really tempted by Arizona. I was really tempted by the Rams.
I was tempted by Arizona as well. That was my number 2 consideration.
I'm going to go with Minnesota. We enjoyed this very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel. First of all, click the little bell. That'll give you a little notification that we've posted another one of these shows where we're going to pick games. There'll be other stuff going on the channel this season, but this is a big thing that we're going to be doing every week on the channel. We thank DraftKings very, very much for sponsoring. We thank Diego Lopez for guest producing the show. And we really want to know, what's your number 1 bet? Tell us your point spread bet that you like the best down in the comments. We will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.